Hi everyone, I'm Anupi. Welcome to Indian as Apple Pie and welcome to my kitchen. Today I'm going to cook up an iconic Indo-Chinese dish called Gobi Manchurian. Typically, Gobi Manchurian is made with breaded and deep fried, see the dog? Deep fried cauliflower. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to bread it and then bake it and see how it would turn out. I think it came out pretty good, and there were a couple things techniques that I used that really helped me to make a very successful dish. Now, this video is going to be in two parts. This part is going to teach you how to bake the cauliflower successfully. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a small head of cauliflower and cut it up into bite-sized florets, or maybe a little bit bigger. And what they're going to look like is this. And what we've done here is sliced it so that there's a flat side. I kind of like doing that. There's no right or wrong with this, but I like to do that because then when I put it on the baking tray, it'll lay flat and crisp up beautifully. This is a little yellow because you want to parboil your cauliflower, partially boil, in boiling hot water for about 2 minutes with a little bit of turmeric and a little bit of salt. That is your first opportunity to really spice up your cauliflower. So we've got it drained over here. You don't want it too soft, otherwise it'll get really mushy, but you do want it partially cooked because otherwise it doesn't cook through in the oven otherwise, right? If it's raw, it still stays super crunchy and you get that weird sort of texture, which is what I'd been doing wrong. Not that I like to admit what I do wrong, just FYI, as my husband would like to tell you. Now let's do the breading. I'll turn the camera so you can see in my mixing bowl right here. Super easy. We've got a 1/4 cup of cornstarch. If you don't like using cornstarch, you can use some arrowroot. You could also use a sweet potato starch or a potato starch. Some all-purpose flour, but instead what I did was to make this gluten-free, I used a quinoa flour. Very easy to use, will increase the protein because quinoa is a seed and I love trying different fun things like that. And then I've got a 1/4 cup of rice flour. The quinoa flour, the rice flour, the cornstarch together really makes your baked cauliflower just a little bit crispy. Right? You can also air fry this, folks, so many different ways to do the same thing. But the idea is less calories because no deep frying. Now you've got your spices. Put them in or don't, it's totally up to you. Put a little bit of baking powder in here. I've got some black ground pepper, some salt, and some garam masala on the bottom. So let's just kind of move this around a little bit, is red chili. That's because I'm making a dish that is Indian. If you want at this point to make something like maybe your version of cauliflower wings, you can mix in other spices, the ones that you normally would use for chicken wings, and put them in here. You put some hot sauce in here, whatever you want. So we've got the dry ingredients all beautifully stirred together. And now I'm going to use a 1/2 cup of water. Mix this up more because you want it all nice and blended into a batter. A very thin, almost like pancake batter, really. Now, keep in mind it's a 1/2 cup. I'm going to need a little bit more. That's why I always keep a little bit of water, extra water handy. I'm going to add it 1, 2 teaspoons at a time, because you can always add more. It's difficult to take away if you add too much. And I want a tiny bit more because I don't want that batter to be clumpy on the cauliflower. So let's do 1, 2, so about a tablespoon more of water, and there it is. That is the consistency that I really want of this batter. Beautiful, right? And now we're going to go ahead and fold our cauliflower in there. It is really as simple as that, but you know what? It sometimes takes seeing it being made to really feel that you're empowered enough to make it. And that's why I love doing these easy, simple videos so that you can really truly just witness it yourself and be like, hey man, I can do this. I know I can do this. I got it in me. I am a chef. Because look, we all have that inner cook in us. We can do it. Sometimes we just need a little bit of confidence. I'm a visual learner. I like seeing this stuff actually being made, and then it motivates me to do it because I'm like, wait a minute, I know that does not look that hard. I can do it. So look at that. That was the perfect amount of batter. And now all we're gonna do is we're gonna take a baking tray lined with parchment paper. Important if you really truly want to make the process super easy, you will use parchment paper. I have pre-cut parchment paper that you can easily buy online, and that is what does the trick. So that sliced side down, remember I showed you that? It's this side sliced, put that down, because then what happens is when it bakes in the oven, it's crisping up on that side, and it just looks so yummy. So you're gonna go ahead and get all of this out. And you wanna make sure when it's lined up on your baking tray that it's really not touching the other pieces. That's how you're gonna make sure that it is very successful, like evenly cooked and baked. And there you go. So we're gonna just go ahead and do this for all of these pieces until we are finished. If you have batter left, all you gotta do is grab a pastry brush, grab that last little bit, and get the little crevices that have not been battered up as much, just to use it all up. Why waste it if you don't have to? And there you go. Now, this is gonna go into the oven at 420 degrees. You've preheated your oven, 420 degrees, 420 degrees Fahrenheit, for 30 minutes. Pull it out, flip it over, and cook it for 5 more minutes. I've seen that for this amount of cauliflower, it's gonna fill this whole tray, you need about 35 minutes total. Do you need to flip if you don't feel like it? You don't absolutely need to, and I usually am a minimalist with my cooking, but I feel like it helps. And this is what the finished dish looks like. So look at this. This was the side that was flat, and on the bottom, it's breaded beautifully. And then I flipped it, and the little pieces, look how beautifully crunchy they are. And it just comes right off the parchment. And once it does, you just take this, you throw it out. I have two pieces of parchment here, but this is a large baking tray. Look how easy that is. And there you have it. Now, what you could do if you wanted to, and you just love cauliflower, you don't want to make the stir fry, the Manchurian sauce. It is so simple. When I show you in the next video, you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to make it all the time. But if you don't feel like it, and you have a little party with your family coming up, because I know we're all quarantined, so obviously we're not inviting people over, but you could actually serve this hot right out of the oven as a little starter, put toothpicks in it, hit it with a little bit more garam masala, maybe a little bit more salt, some sea salt, and then use a tamarind chutney as a dipping sauce, maybe a mint chutney if you want. Lots of different things you can do with it, but really the ideal thing that you want to do is create the Manchurian sauce, and we will show you how to do that in the next video so that you can take all this and put it into your stir fry and make amazing baked Gobi Manchurian for the eater in you, like I am. I love to eat, so I don't want just 1 serving or 2 servings. I want 3 servings, and guess what? I don't want to feel guilty about it. This is the way to not feel guilty about your Gobi Manchurian, is you bake it. Thanks for joining me today. Again, Anupi with Indian as Apple Pie. Check out our videos if you missed anything on YouTube, Indian as Apple Pie, and I will have this recipe posted as well on my website, Indian as Apple Pie. Just search for Gobi Manchurian in the search box. I'm always here for you. Reach out if you need anything on Facebook or on Instagram. Keep cooking, folks, and hashtag stay spicy. Bye.